What up, people? It's your boy Master Chudy out here with another comic review, and man, we're back at it again with Red Hood and the Outlaws. And I've got to say, this is probably the most emotional issue of the whole series, man. Of course, Red Hood and Penguin are still duking it out for control, and Red Hood seems to have the upper hand. But it's not what's going on with the Penguin and the Red Hood that's intriguing. It's once again, of course, our boy Bizarro. Let's get into it. Of course, we're greeted with a fantastic action page, and we just see Red Hood beating down some of Penguin's thugs, giving them the good old beat down. I love this shot. Dexter Soy's a boss, per usual. Sorry about that. So he's just kicking behind, and so on and so forth. He beats up all the opposition, and he just sees the Penguin come in, and he's kicking out, making sure that the Penguin doesn't increase his property. So we just see Penguin's like, you couldn't wait until the grand opening like everyone else, Red Hood? And he's like, I don't queue. Besides, it was poor business of me taking off with your 11 million. If you're going to be working for me, Penguin, you should get your fair share. And you just see the Penguin's like, oh, please, man, you never stop pushing, do you, boy? My take of my own money? And you just see, there's no way in hell you walk away from this without. And of course, Red Hood walks away. He's like, damn it. And you just see all the guys beaten up. But then we also get a little bit of backstory into Artemis. We just see the past is past. And this is art done by Alison Borges, who I think this is also very good art as well. And we see Artemis reminiscing like this. This was years ago in Huierve el Agua. It's like, sometimes I like to pretend that I'm noble, honorable, that I'm worthy. And of course she has a prisoner that she's taking away for, a hit. And he's pleading for his life of a time when I rented my sword, but then there are memories of a time when I used to rent out my sword. So she used to be basically a mercenary for hire. And this guy's pleading with his life saying that you can't take me back, they'll kill me. It's like, please, lady, I have a son. And then, she's like, what should I care about your son? If you were concerned about his welfare, you would have not been in this prison at all. It's like, you're right, I was a crappy father and a worse husband. But the only reason I signed up for these illegal experiments was because I was hoping I'd catch some time off. His mom is dead. I'm the only family he's got left. And, she was trying to say, I once believed I was compassionate, forgiving. Who knows? I may have been. It's like I may have been when I was in Amazon. And, of course, she decides to take out the contract. So then we see Lex Luthor. Of course, she was hired by Lex Luthor to perform this task. And he's like saying, is it done? It's like, do you have to ask? It's like, you wanted to send a message to others. It's like, who dare abuse your proprietary tech. I understand that. I might even admire it, but I'm curious, Mr. Luthor. It's like, anything, Miss Grace. It's like, you could have hired a small army for the price you paid. Why employ me for the task? And we just see classic Luthor saying, because I've never owned an Amazon before, Artemis. Even a third-rate one such as yourself. Ouch. Mr. Luthor will see you now. So she gets jogged back to memory, of course. She went to see Lex for a meeting. And she's been let in, of course. So she's still feeling bad. That she feels like she's atoned for her sins. But meanwhile, we get back to Bizarro. He's going out for a hot dog. And, he gets a hot dog. He pays the man. And, this is a good walkthrough of Bizarro. He's just talking to himself. It's like it isn't quantum mechanics or finding the square root of pi in my sleep. It's not about inventing or hypothesizing or discovering. It is little things, the taste of a hot dog, while mentally separating the sodium ascorbate from the autolyzed yeast extract, defeating of the heat of the sun on my face, while calculating the apex and nadir of the solar flare 92.96 million miles away. The silent roar of the million heartbeats I pass every day, counting each one I hear. It is the small things I'll miss, like looking up and seeing the floating city block of a headquarters I built on a Tuesday before breakfast, watching over a populace that will never know everything I tried to help them while I had the chance. That is what I'll miss the most. And we see that he really doesn't want to regress back to being the old Bizarro. And I like how it's not going to have any, negative effects on his health, as maybe the flowers of Algernon did, but he doesn't want to, but it seems that he's coming to accept it. So he sees an old man, and he just says, would you mind giving me a hand? And just see, I will make it through this light without your help. And just see, of course, sir. He said, thank you, and thank you for saying sir, and not old timer. You just see, I try to be helpful. You just see, I don't know how much time I have left. And the old man is like, none of us do, son. None of us do. And you just see, you're a fine young man. It's like, me, am? Oh boy. It's like, you certainly are, am. Thank you. And I'm pretty sure Bizarro can thank his stars that he didn't catch on to that slip. But he's like, who am I kidding? I'm going to miss it all. But I made Artemis a promise. No more kryptonite. No more raging against the dying of the light. Whatever my fate, I will face it as a man, surrounded, oh dang, he's losing his intelligence, and he's like, I just have to get, and he's confused now. And then of course we go back to Faye Gunn, whose granddaughter, basically. And Jason, he's like, I wouldn't have agreed to meet her again, but there's something about her that intrigued me. So she talks about, how her grandmother, Faye Gunn, who's been entrapped in the bottle that nobody knows yet, kept trying to keep her family life, a secret from the public. And, she's like, I'm not going to apologize for my grandmother's wrongdoing, but she said that she left the package on my doorstep and left a note. Bring this to the only person on earth I trust. Jason Todd. He's like, what could she possibly mean? And he's like, sounds important. But here it is, day 2, and you're still playing games, Faye Gunn. It's like, not at all. I'm just trying to understand what she sees in you. She seems to think you're special, but as for the envelope itself, I did what you wanted. I don't care if you open it or throw it in the trash. And she's like, did you look at it? Would you believe me if I said no? So we see Jason gets a call, and he's like, I have to take this. Like, no problem. Hello? And of course, I forgot to mention that this guy, the guy who, on date night, this dude who Bizarro met, who got knocked out, has been following each of the Outlaws. He's here behind Jason, and he's also here with Artemis. And they don't seem to notice him, but only Bizarro saw him. And that's why I guess they couldn't see them when he got knocked out of the bar after their date night. So it's interesting. He's going to play a huge role in this. I like how he's been just appearing, bit by bit. And so we go back to LexCorp. So it's like, synthetic kryptonite, pilfer from the future? It certainly sounds like a recipe for disaster. The boy is not giving up without a fight. I'll give him much that. And Artemis is like, you'll give him much more, Mr. Luthor. You created him. You pretended to fix him. And now you're going to help him. And Lex is like, I'll do no such thing. I gave him life. Twice. My obligation to the creature is complete. It's like, and Artemis is begging, like, sir, please. I know you care for Bizarro, or you wouldn't have given him back to us. And then classic Lex just laughs it off. It's like, that's rich. I didn't return him out of a ridiculous sense of altruism. I simply did it so I could observe him in an uncontrolled habitat. And it shows that since then, Lex has been spying on all of the Outlaws since then. All of their missions, everything. The jetpacks or the Penguin stealing the money, everything, his kryptonite baths. And he's like, the three of you are nothing more than a lab experiment to me. You and the Red Hood function as a control group. The first Bizarro I created only ever existed in a lab, and for a few moments at my side. Ah, come on. That's like, but the three of you, playing house, have shown me more potential in my creation than I could have ever imagined. At the end of the day, though, you're all just rats in a cage. And then Artemis just leaves by saying, the thing about lies, Mr. Luthor, is that after a while you start to believe them. So she just leaves. And you just see Lex like father, like son. So meanwhile, we see that Bizarro is just outside Gotham. And we just see Jason's like, B. He's like, you came, always. It's like, what's up? The sky, orbit, the sun, moon, and the stars all up. But not what you meant. Me called because I forgot to get home. Oh, he's lost his intelligence. Me even forgot the word home. So there's just a silence in between them. It's like, Jason, me tired, me tried. I'm trying so hard to be the person you want me to be. And Jason is like, you've always been the person I want you to be. Always, you big goof. And then we just see Bizarro's like, what am an envelope? Who cares? Let's not worry about tomorrow until tomorrow. And then, like good old friends, as a drawback to earlier issues, You see Jason? Mia, I'm scared. It's like, you'll be fine, buddy. Trust me. And then it's like, me, he lying, but it okay. But I'm okay. It has to be. And that's the end of that. This was a fantastic issue. This is the most emotional issue. Scott Lobdell keeps hitting it out of the park. He's the boss. And I hope that this issue continues because, man, this has been the underdog, the black horse of the DC Rebirth series, Red Hood and the Outlaws. I give this a perfect 10 out of 10. So thank y'all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notifications. Make sure you're notified. Once again, I do these reviews for you, the people. Thank y'all for watching, and I've got more comics in here. Oh, man, sorry. Dang, look at this car. New Flash, No Justice, Sideways, and, of course, Venom. Danny Coates, let's see what you got. Donnie Coates. Sorry about that. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll have more videos up maybe, hopefully, later tonight.